Come on, everybody. Let's go. Get ready for a summertime adventure from another Sommer-Time Story. This is the story of Androcles and the Lion, written and told by award-winning author Carl Sommer.
"You're not making enough bricks," barked the angry slave master as he shook his whip in Androcles' face. Androcles looked up and whispered, "Sir, I'm working as hard and fast as I can." "You lazy worker!" yelled the furious slave master. He yanked Androcles' arm and shouted, "Come with me. I know you can work faster. You're getting whipped. I'm making you an example for the other workers." The slave master marched Androcles to the whipping post and tied him up. As the whip slashed across Androcles' back, the slave master yelled, "This will teach you to work faster." Every time Androcles felt the whip, he gritted his teeth and groaned to himself, "Oh, if only I could be free." What is a slave? All right, Emily?
Someone who's working not by their own will, but by somebody else's will.
Yes, very good. What type of person was this slave master here? All right, Miles?
He's a bully.
He's a bully. A bully, just because he's stronger and more powerful, they take advantage of others. And we have bullies in our schools. And sometimes we have bullies among boys and girls. The older brother or sister is stronger, so he or she bullies the younger ones. And that's not right. And that's what this slave master over here is just a big bully. He has the authority, and he's taking advantage of Androcles. And that's what he is. He's a big bully. When the slave master untied Androcles from the whipping post, he warned, "Every day you don't make enough bricks, you're getting whipped. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," Androcles said softly. The next day, Androcles told another worker, "I'm so weak from my beating yesterday, but I'm going to work as fast as I can to make enough bricks. I sure don't want another beating." "I don't blame you," the worker said. But in spite of trying to work as hard as he could, Androcles could not make enough bricks. At the end of the day, he groaned, "What can I do? I'm working as fast as I can, but I can't satisfy the slave master." Suddenly, Androcles' face lit up. "I'll run away." "You can't run away," a worker reminded him. "If they catch you, they'll feed you to the starving lions." When the slave master came and looked at Androcles' work, he yelled, "Didn't I warn you that if you didn't do what I told you, you'd be whipped?" "Yes, sir," whispered Androcles. That night, Androcles was whipped again. Day after day, this continued. One day, as Androcles lay on his straw bedding, he said, "What can I do? My best is never enough, and every beating leaves me weaker than the day before. These beatings will kill me. Oh, how I wish I were free." Suddenly, he sat up. "Tomorrow I'm running away," he declared. "If I get caught and fed to a hungry lion, at least I'll have my freedom for a few days." How many of you appreciate your freedom? All right, Jared, why?
Because there are people who gave our lives to protect this country and let us be free.
I'm so thankful that we don't have slavery in our country today. And one day we did have slavery. And think of it, men and women, boys and girls that were born were slaves automatically. And we actually had a civil war over that. Free the slaves, and the North fought against the South and said all slaves are free. No more slaves in the United States of America. And I'm really thankful for that. And we ought to be thankful that we live in a country that it has freedom and there's no more slaves in our country. The next day, while making bricks, Androcles watched carefully for his chance to escape. When he was sure no one was looking, he raced into the woods and ran until he could run no more. Then he sat down on the rock and rested. He took a deep breath and sighed. At least one good thing will happen today. Tonight I won't be whipped. Soon Androcles became hungry. I've got to find something to eat, he said. I'll first make a bow and arrow and then search for food. As Androcles searched for food, he thought, I've got to be extremely careful that no one sees me. If anyone does, he'll report me to the emperor's soldiers. Then they'll feed me to the lions. One day, Androcles heard a strange sound. What's that? He asked. He tiptoed toward the sound and peeked through a bush. He froze. A lion! I'd better get out of here fast. But when he saw the lion moaning and groaning and not rushing to attack him, he said, there must be something wrong with that lion. When the lion saw Androcles, he held out his bleeding, swollen paw. Oh my, said Androcles. Look at that poor lion. I'll try to help him. Slowly, Androcles went towards the lion. The giant cat purred like a kitten. When Androcles got closer, he said, You poor thing, you have a big thorn in your paw. How will a kind person act towards animals? Garen?
By treating them with respect and taking care of them, making sure they've got stuff to eat and keeping them healthy.
Right. And how will a cruel person act towards animals? All right, Charity?
Like he would beat them and just, if they're sick or hurt, that he would just leave it there and not care for it.
Yeah, you know, sometimes boys and girls are mean towards animals. They'll kick them and they'll torture them, and just because it's an animal, even though it's a little, what kind of animal it is, you know. We don't torture animals. We're kind to animals. Now, sometimes you have to do something with this dangerous animal. We have to get rid of it. There's nothing wrong with that. People go hunting for meat. There's nothing wrong with that. But we ought to be kind people, even to animals. That's what Androcles was. He was a kind person. Androcles knelt beside the lion. When the lion laid his paw on his lap, Androcles said with a kind voice, Let me pull out this thorn. Then he carefully pulled the thorn out and bandaged the paw with his extra shirt. The grateful lion licked his face as he worked. Then the lion limped along and led Androcles to his cave. As soon as the lion felt better, he went hunting. When the lion found food, he shared it with Androcles. I'm so thankful, said Androcles. Now I have something to eat and a safe place to sleep. But one day, everything changed. The lion was captured, and Androcles had to go out and search for his own food again. Whenever Androcles had extra time, he would sit on the side of a hill and watch the townspeople. Oh, he often groaned, if only I were truly free. How wonderful that would be. One day Androcles sneaked into the city. He watched a boy who had many toys of his own yank a ball from his sister. The mother saw this and scolded, Give the ball back! The boy threw the ball at his sister. Then he stormed away and yelled, Take your ball! Androcles shook his head and said, Look at that selfish boy. He's mad over a silly ball. That boy needs to appreciate the many things he has. There are many boys and girls just like this boy and this girl. And you know, for very simple things, they get mad. They yank the ball. They have all kinds of toys. And, you know, if they don't have their sister's toy, their brother's toy, you see boys getting crying. They get the room filled with toys, and they get crying because they don't have that toy. But, you know, sometimes boys and girls don't appreciate all the nice things that their parents make for them. They're always complaining and griping. Oh, boy, why can't I have this? Why? Look at everybody else over here. And here's Androcles. He was a slave, and he looks at it. Don't these boys and girls there, don't they appreciate their freedom? Don't we appreciate what we have? Do we have to always gripe? And you're going to be studying history. Look at history. You know, if you really want to understand history, listen to me very carefully here. Put yourself in those people's shoes. Make believe you're a slave one day. Go back before the Civil War and make believe all day long you got to work in that cotton field in the sun. It's 100 degrees outside and the sun's beating down on you and you got to pick cotton all day long. You maybe be glad that you have to only do dishes in the house without complaining, or you have to vacuum the house, you know. Put yourself into those people's shoes, how they lived when you're studying history, and make it come alive to you.
Androcles watched men, women, and children arguing and complaining. Don't they appreciate what they have? He asked. Look at them. They're free, have fine homes, nice clothes, and lots of good food. Yet they go around grumbling. How foolish they are. One day a young man saw Androcles in the woods hunting. The man quickly went to the officials and said, I'm sure I saw a runaway slave in the forest. Quick, the officials shouted to the soldiers. That may be Androcles, the runaway slave. We've been searching a long time for him. Put a search team together and don't forget the dogs. Soldiers quickly got the dogs and mounted their horses to search for Androcles. When Androcles heard horses and the barking dogs, he ran behind a rock to hide. Oh, he groaned. I'm sure they'll find me now. The mean dogs quickly surrounded him and barked madly. Soldiers came quickly and grabbed Androcles. Are you Androcles, the runaway slave? A soldier asked. Yes, I am, Androcles said. Without another word, the soldiers tied Androcles' hands behind his back, put him on the horse, and took him away. A soldier threw Androcles in jail and yelled, Get in there, you runaway slave! Tomorrow you'll stand before the emperor. As Androcles stared out of his cell, he said, No doubt I'm going to die, but at least for a short time I was a free man.
Here's Androcles now. He's behind bars. He's caught, he's captured, but he has something that he's happy about. What is he happy about, Gabrielle?
He was a free man.
He's a free man. How long was he a free man for?
About a few days.
Yeah, by a few days only. And you boys and girls are free your entire life. You were never once a slave because we don't allow slavery in this country. And I'm going to ask you a question, okay? Do you appreciate your freedom? You do. And I do too. I'm going to raise my hand real high. I appreciate my freedom.
The next day, the soldiers opened the cell door and demanded, Come with us. They marched Androcles to the emperor. Are you Androcles, the runaway slave? The emperor asked. Androcles held his head high and said, Yes, your majesty, I am. Why did you run away? Asked the emperor. My master had me make bricks. I worked as fast and hard as I could, but my master was never happy, so every day he whipped me. Don't you know the law says runaway slaves are to be fed to the hungry lions? Yes, your majesty. I must fulfill the law. Tomorrow you'll be fed to the lions. The next day the stadium was crowded. One neighbor said to his friend, This should teach runaway slaves to obey their masters. It sure will, the neighbor replied. As they let Androcles out, the crowd stood and booed. When the soldiers opened the gate, a starving lion gave a mighty roar that thundered throughout the stadium. The crowds cheered.
Now, this is sad. You know, here's a person going to be eaten by a lion, and the people are cheering. And you know, in the days of old Rome, the Colosseum, they used to take Christians, because they hated them, I used to feed them to the lions, and sometimes they would burn them on the stake. And I want to do something now. I want to do it today in modern America. And there's some boys and girls, when they see a kid in school, and he's being picked on, and some boys and girls would cheer, yeah! They join the crowd. It's sad. You know, we ought to be friends to the unfortunate. You see a kid maybe that's suffering, or no one is talking to this boy or girl, might have a different color skin, it looks a little funny, have big ears, maybe something like that, be kind to that person. Don't join the crowd in putting people down. You know, we ought to be kind people. And here are these people cheering, seeing this here man being fed to the lions. And we're going to see something strange that happens in this story. Let's see what happens.
The lion raced toward Androcles. The lion leaped in the air, opened his mouth wide, and was ready to attack. Suddenly, the lion detected a smell. The lion quickly turned his head and fell to the ground. He knew it was Androcles. The lion crawled towards him, purring like a kitten. "My dear friend," exclaimed Androcles as he put his arms around the lion. Then the lion put his paw on Androcles' lap and began licking his face. The emperor and crowd were astonished. They had never seen anything like this before. "What is happening?" the angry emperor demanded. "Did they feed the lion before he came out?" "No, sir," replied an official. "We are sure the lion was not fed for a week." "This is unbelievable," the emperor exclaimed. "Bring Androcles right away to my palace." They brought Androcles before the emperor. "Why didn't the lion attack you?" the puzzled emperor asked. Androcles bowed and said, "Your Majesty, I met this lion when he had a thorn in his paw. I removed the thorn and bandaged his paw with a shirt. We became best friends, and we lived together in a cave until he was captured." "I've heard enough," the emperor said. "Give this kind man and the lion their freedom." Thank you, Androcles said as he bowed before the emperor. "I will be forever grateful for your kindness." Androcles went to the lion's cage and led the lion to his freedom.
What did Androcles do when he was given his freedom? Yes, Emily?
He thanked the emperor.
He thanked the emperor. You know what? I see sometimes boys and girls giving gifts, and I see it sometimes even with older people. You give people a gift, and they don't even say thank you. They can't even say thank you. Now, I have 19 grandchildren, and we give gifts to them, and it's so nice when I see my grandchildren come up to me and say, "Thank you, Grandpa," and they give me a hug. And you boys and girls should learn to be thankful and watch what Androcles does at the end of this story. Listen carefully and try to learn to do likewise, how much he appreciates something that he has received.
Androcles appreciated his freedom so much that he went throughout all the towns and villages telling everyone his story. He declared that everyone should be valued and slavery should be done away with. At the close of every speech, he said, "Men, women, and children, always be thankful and appreciate your freedom."
And now, an award-winning song from Character Kids.
So many people so helpless, living with struggles and fears, drifting through life with no future. Please stop ignoring the people.